Okay, so we are on the third part of our agreement segment where we're breaking apart the definition or the mission statement of what we mean by agreements. And we were on the part of talking about something being age appropriate when we set up our expectations, that it's age appropriate and simply stated. So let's restate that mission statement one more time just so you don't feel lost, but you can also go back and watch part 1 or part 2. But let me restate it for you. It says, the agreements are to honor a positive caregiving and parenting style where we focus on age-appropriate, simply stated expectations that we as a family or a school or a community all agree to work collaboratively on to achieve. I said collaboratively. Yay! If you watch the other segment, I could not get that out for the life of me. I mean, granted, I'm washed out in the video. At least I'm not in the corner anymore. My bed's not made. I'm off-center because a videographer I am not. But darn it, I said collaboratively. So celebrate those little moments. Yay! All right, out of that rabbit hole. Back to what we were talking about. That when you are setting up your agreements with your family, to set yourself up for success and not failure, that the way to help you in that process is to have agreements that are age appropriate, relevant, real for your family, where they're at, and they're simply stated. So you're going to have your core family agreements, right? This is what your foundation is built on. This is truly what makes your family your family. And these ones, there's not a lot of waxing and waning going on there in the belief. So those are ones you have written, they're in stone. I kind of think just they're in their foundation. They're written on there, like the 10 Commandments. They are there. And then you're going to have your agreements that are situational, maybe temporary, because they're based on developmentally where your child's at. You're going to be working on an agreement with your child at different ages, at different stages that you're going to be focusing on with them, or your family, where your family's at. And then also it can be situational, which are just even verbal agreements that you have with those important family members or your community that you're working on. And when you're in that space where you're setting up an agreement, whether it's a quick moment or your core values, you're posting them up on an intention board, which if you want to know how to set up agreements, there is a segment on that. You can go and click on it now. But let's get through this first, okay? So that you know that when you do this, you put it in expectations when you're checking in and you're connecting, that they're realistic for your family so that you can have that success. They are age appropriate and they're straight to the point in a positive way. An example of a temporary agreement that I had was with my son Spencer. He was writing this book report. He wasn't feeling well, so he had asked to not go to school that day, but I still need to go to school and see my little preschoolers, my little friends. So I said, all right, Spence, let's work on an agreement here. I'm okay with you working on your report at home instead of going to school, but actually you can send the teacher's lounge and work on it there. We'll set a little timer. We'll have side activities for you to work on so that you can take a break and come back. And all I ask is that you work on this much and get this much done. Does this seem fair to you and realistic? Oh, sure, Mom. That sounds great. I can do that. No problem. So, okay, great. Go to work. And at the end of the day, I checked in with him in the afternoon a little bit. And by the end of the day, I looked at what he had done. And I'm telling you, there's probably about half done what we thought he was going to be able to do. Oh, in that moment, it's just like, come on. We had an agreement. And now it didn't work out. So what do you do when your child breaks your agreement? There's going to be another check-in on that too. But this was more of, this agreement was broken because my expectations really weren't necessarily realistic of what he could do in the time that he was allotted. And the way I found that out, the little aha moment, was when I was checking with a coworker about the situation, and she was really cool with me, and she was straight up and honest, and I love that honesty. Thank you, God, when you send the right person at the right time. And she said to me, Hannah, at 9 years old, if my mom had sat me down and told me, here's this space, write this report, this is your time, she goes, I couldn't have done that. I would have been off in the corner drawing on the walls or something. Or, I would have been off, she would have been at home. She was so interested in cooking. She would have been in the kitchen baking cookies and possibly burning the house down. She says, my mom was lucky if I didn't sit there and just watch TV the whole time. That might have been a little too long of a period of time to leave him working on a report with the expectation that he was going to be able to regulate himself the way that you thought he could, or he even thought he could. And so when he and I talked more, I took a moment, checked in with him, said, hey, bud, what happened? Because really that's more important to me so that I can set him up for success again rather than focusing on what he didn't do. Let's look at what did happen so we can move forward. So we did. We talked about what happened, and he was so clear and honest with me about, hey, set the timer once, but after it went off, I didn't really think about it again. I didn't really go back to it. So there was natural consequences, of course. He had to come home and write his report then, and he was up a little late that night having to finish up his report and not being able to do things he wanted to do. So there's consequences to behaviors. But it really helped me in that moment to remember when I'm setting up expectations with my family and they get to participate, it's good to know where that child is at developmentally, what their needs are, and try to meet them there. In my preschool class, one of the expectations that we have is self-care and the children being able to clean up after themselves when they've left an activity. If they're moving on to a new activity, our agreement is you clean up your old activity. And so I look at where the children are developmentally, what they can do, and then how much of it they can clean up on their own. And if I see a mess getting really big, I'll go in and check in with them and say, hey, I see this mess is, this activity is getting really large. I just want to check in with you that we do have the agreement of cleaning this up when you get done. So when I see that they're done, I have to look at how they can realistically clean this up. Instead of just walking away going, cleaning it up, our agreement is you're going to clean it up. You agreed, so go ahead. I want to set them up for success. So knowing my children's temperament in the classroom, that 3 or 4 minutes is about as long as they can spend cleaning up an activity on their own before they need a little help, I'll let them do that. I don't want to do it for them. I don't want to undermine what they can do by making the agreement so simple and generic, or just that's really not helping them grow. So I watch them and what they can do and allow them the opportunity to do that. And then I step in and help them through the rest of the process. I get to come in and say, again, what can I do to help? So I come in and we'll clean up the rest of the blocks together. We'll put on some music, maybe we set a timer, and some of it gets left behind or whatever is their activity they're building, and it may be something we come back to later and finish cleaning. There's no expectation there. It would be unrealistic of me to expect everything to come back exactly how it should be or it was. And at some point they'll be able to clean up more and more, and we'll have that expectation, but you'll see that growth. And that's one of the ways you can set up your expectations when you're saying, well, how do I know what's appropriate for my child? Monitoring them, observing them, that's one of the great ways to really see where your child's at. That's, history is a great evidence of future activities. So look and see, what do I notice that my child has been able to do successfully? What do I notice as a family we've been able to do successfully? Agreements for myself. What are my expectations? And, if my expectation is to have my whole house clean and still find time to tape and get everything done that I need to get done, those expectations really aren't setting me up for success. And then I want to walk away from it. I want to walk away from the agreements or whatever it is that I'm working on because I really can't do it. All right, so hopefully that gives you a little information. You're simply stating the agreements. You've got it clearly, that you're wanting to set your family up for success. And now check in on all those other little check-ins and see which ones help you succeed in this process. And then let me know, Check me out. I'm on Facebook. I've got the Mommy Chronicles as a new page. I just set it up. But you can also put something on the YouTube channel and let me know how it's going for you. And if there's something you need more information on, or could you expand on this topic, Hannah? That would be great. And if I can, I will, or maybe I can direct you to a source, or also check out other resources. They are out there that can help you succeed. Okay? And just don't give up. It's a process, not a product. It's a journey that we're on as a family. Celebrate those little accomplishments in your life, and know that just the fact that you care enough to want to set your family up for success and be positive and create a loving home environment, that's priceless. But now do the work. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.